Yeah, right guys, how are we all doing? It's Andy here from Peninsula Paint and Projects and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to unbox this magazine, Warhammer Conquest issue 21. Now this is becoming harder and harder to find in my local shops now. As you know, it's obviously Thursday now, it came out on Wednesday. So that's the reason why it's late. So let's open it up and see what we've got inside. We've got a little surprise in here which we didn't really know about from last week. So we have got this magazine, which, as you can see, good job it's free because I don't know if you can see the little indentations on there, but this is a The Lord of Silence. It's a couple of chapters, sample chapters from one of the books by Chris Wright, is that, yeah? So just a couple of sample chapters from one of his books. According to my friend Danny, he's a very good author, so I look forward to reading this and maybe it'll get me interested in the series. Now, as you know, I've started reading the Horus Heresy magazine, the Horus Heresy books, and I found them really interesting. The first one's fantastic. The second one's, you know, it takes a while for it to get in, you know, for the story to progress and for you to get into it. Well, that was my take on it anyway. So we'll put this to one side. That's a nice little addition to the magazine this week. So we'll pop that to one side. Little taste there. We've got the little core rule fold out thing, which if you haven't seen this before, it folds out. And what we've got is you know, it tells you a bit about the core rules, how to do the movement phase, how to do the psychic phase, shooting phase, and then we've got the charge phase, including the fight phase, and then the very final phase, which is the morale phase. And it's really good, this. Well, one thing I love about 8th edition is this new how to wound chart. If you remember 7th edition and previous, you had a chart and you used to have to line up the strength and the toughness and do like an L, you know, on the chart, on the graph. And that was a bit of a ball ache, to be honest. But now, if your strength is equal to the toughness, it's a 4+ save, 4+ to hit, to wound, sorry. If it's greater than, it's 3, and if it's double the strength, if the strength is double the toughness, it's 2. So it's really straightforward now, which I like. That's one of the main things I like from 8th edition. Pop that to one side, and then we've got obviously the 3 slotted bases for the Reivers, which, you know, people don't like. I'm not really too fussed, it doesn't bother me anyway. You can always, you know, cover them up yourselves. And these are the 3 Reivers that we get in this magazine. These retail at £10 each for each pack of 3. Now what I'm wanting to do is, and this is what I have been doing, obviously the easy to build to the snap fit, you don't need to glue them together. So what I've been doing is snap fitting them together with the heads. See the little nubs in the head there? I've been cutting that off and then putting a little blue tack underneath, and then if you want to change them in the future, you can swap the heads over. Not only that, same with the arms. Now I'm in the future going to buy the multi-part, multi-pose kit. So if I've got a couple of these lying around now, and I can throw the grapnel launchers, you can pop them on one of them and use it for kill team, for example, or I can give them those the new bolters that they come with, and you can just obviously kit them out. So that's my advice to anyone. Just don't stick these together, you know, clip them out, you know, push fit them together and just paint them, and then decide what you want to do with them at a later date. So, you know, I'm still undecided about these, whether they're any good in the game. Obviously they're good for capturing objectives, they can infiltrate, and they've got a bit better rules than scouts in general. So I suppose they're good in that sense, but I don't know whether, I've been reading a lot of information provided by the competitive players and they're all saying that they're not that good. But it's one of them. So we'll pop that to one side. Let's have a look at the magazine. So obviously in this one we learn about Matarian, the Reivers reinforcements, which obviously we get 3 more, and the invasion of Kovan 2 begins. So that's obviously the next stage of the story, which will then transpire into what else we're going to get in the future. So the Fangs attack, the Fangs of Ulfric. Now, as a Space Wolves player, for me, this is really appealing. I love Space Wolves. However, the way the current storyline goes, the current lore, current fluff as they say, we don't like these new Primaris Marines, the Intercessors and the Reivers. We're not too sure about these because our Space Wolves have had to go through rigorous training to become Space Wolves, where these don't, to put it kindly, they don't have to do that. So Space Wolves, lore-wise, fluff-wise, they're not too fond of these, but you know, it's a good little read this. I had a little check over this before, a little quick skim over it, and you know what? I'm willing to forget about lore for 1 minute and just look at that artwork, guys. That's absolutely beautiful. Blood dripping out of his mouth, and you've got a ginger mohawk there, redhead. I love the design of the Reivers. They look very good, to be honest. I love the death mask there, terror mask. So here's a bit more information about the different members of the Fangs of Ulfric. So we've got Gunnar, Ulfric himself, and Leif, or however you pronounce that. So a bit more information, and then we've got some information here about the Hellblaster, what war gears they have, and this is actually a oh, what's he? Deathwatch guy, which they're pretty cool as well. I wouldn't mind collecting an army of them. So you know what, Games Workshop have done it again. They popped this guy in, sparked my interest, give me a little reminder that I do like them and that I should collect them in the future. Great marketing there. So here's a bit more information about the Hellblaster's war gear, which is good. You know, you can learn a bit more about the unit itself. And here's the different worlds of the Imperium. Now, it was pointed out by one of my fellow friends and fellow YouTubers, Big Mech Danskull. He told us a bit. He read this out yesterday about the different worlds, and I wasn't fully aware of the Hive world. I knew about the Forge world and the chapter planets, but I wasn't, you know, 100% up to scratch in the Hive world. So that was good information. And basically, what he said was, it's a tower-like system, which is pretty much like our society. Those at the top rule the roost, they get the most money, and those at the bottom, and it starts filtering down, and as you get further and further down, obviously society, the economy, it breaks down. So that was really interesting to hear him read that out yesterday. Unfortunately, you know what I'm like, guys, I'm not very good at reading out loud. It's always been a thing that I've not been good at, but anyway, I'm not going to do that. But you know, you should buy the magazine and you should read it yourself. Read it to your children before bed. So here's a bit of information about Mortarion. He's the Demon Primarch. So he once was one of the Primarchs of the Emperor, one of the sons of the Emperor, and he just turned baddie. I like him, to be honest. He's one of my favourite Primarchs, and the model looks absolutely fantastic. I'm not sure if you get to see what this model looks like, but there's some information there. And that's when he was a Primarch beforehand, and that's what he looks like now. So it's a bit of a shame, isn't it? You know, he looked pretty stoic there, now it looks a bit gruesome and deathly and plague-like. So as usual, we know how to build the Reivers. We did it in issue 3. So you clip them out, and then you can just pop them together without any glue. And like I said, clip off the little nubbin on the neck, and then you can swap the heads around, and so that these don't have to look the same as the previous ones. How to paint them the same as the other Ultramarines painting schemes in the magazine, in the series up to now, and that's what they will end up looking like. So I hope yours look like that, guys, and if they don't, just keep on practicing. Practice makes perfect. Not everyone's going to look like what you see in the magazines, unfortunately, but it's just practice makes perfect. And then we've got, we've received this mat, haven't we? Yeah, we did receive that mat. So now it's telling you now what, so I think on the mat, one side's got the terrain already drawn onto it, printed onto it, and then obviously the other side's where, as we get terrain, each week, you pop it down. So there's a bit of information there. Obviously now I'm starting telling you to use the core rules. So this is where things unfold, guys. I knew this would happen. We're starting to get the real rules in here now, because the previous ones, They were there just to try and, you know, get people, you know, comfortable with it and used to how to play. And this is how we roll now, guys. This is the real rules now. Defend the drop site. So a new little mission there, telling you how to set up 6 inches from the board edge, which most games it's 12 inches, but obviously it's a smaller skirmish size game. And now they're starting to introduce you to the Black Library. Now, that's the book I was telling you about there, Horus Rising, which I believe is, yeah, that's by Dan Abnett, so that is the first one, and that is fantastic, guys. The other two I'm not too sure about. I've heard mixed reviews about them, but I would definitely say this one, Horus Rising, is one of the best books I've ever read in my life, to be honest. So that's that. And then what do we get next week? Next week we get the Astro Granite new texture paint. And we get to look, do we get a paintbrush as well? Yeah, a medium base brush as well, which is always comes in handy, guys. We always need new paintbrushes, and we always need new paints to try out and get used to. So I'm looking forward to that one. Depending on the price, I'll have to work out. If we're saving a decent amount of money, I will try and maybe get 1 or 2, and then the following issue we're going to get some more terrain, which me personally I'm looking forward to, because I always need new terrain. And you know, as you know, with the shop and stuff like that, we're steadily building our tables up and getting more terrain and stuff like that, doing things a bit smartly, you know, trying to do a smart business plan. So guys, that's that. What do you think of this issue? Do you think it's worth it? Have you collected these yourselves? Are you even doing the Primaris side of Conquest? Are you doing the Death Guard? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment, and I'll see you next week. Well, actually I'll probably see you in a couple of days time. See you later.